You're listening to the Walt's World Podcast. Join your hosts, John and Kaylee, as they banter about all things Disney, including Disney parks, resorts, dining, fashion, and movies. They'll keep you up to date with the latest Disney news and rumors, and they'll share their best tips and insight to make sure you have the best Disney vacation possible. So to all who tune into this happy place, welcome. It's the Walt's World Podcast.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Walt's World Podcast. I'm your host, John, and Kaylee is not able to be with me tonight. So instead of doing it alone, I thought that I would bring in two people who are basically like family to me. Josh and Kelly Campbell from Instagram at Campbell's on Coasters.
Hello, hello. Did you get stage fright?
I got stage fright. Hello.
Oh my god.
There you go.
I was waiting.
I was moved into it and I was ready and I was like, oh, I have to say something.
I was anticipating some gold coming out of your mouth.
Oh, you'll get the gold.
I got nothing.
You'll get the gold eventually.
You just need to warm up to it first.
Oh gosh. So I thought I would have these guys on because one, we actually recorded an episode with them back like a month ago, and due to technical issues, we won't blame any specific person or anyone at fault here.
It was John.
Technical issues.
No, it was definitely
technical issues. We weren't able to have their show, but
we can blame Kaylee because she
isn't here.
It was Kaylee's fault.
She didn't record her stuff either, so it would have just been talking.
That's true. We recorded the whole episode,
and that's it.
And Kaylee forgot to hit record on her end, and so it was just like, "Hey, Kaylee, what do you think?" That's a great idea. That's exactly what I was thinking. So it was just a lot of blank, and it just wasn't. It just didn't go well. But the episode was awesome, actually. But
yeah, I was about to say
this episode will be equally
conversation
good.
Was great, but none of you will get to hear it at all.
Yes,
I'm pretty upset because I lost a lot of good bits in there, some real gold jokes, and now I have to come up with new ones, and it just doesn't work for me.
Let's just say that some of your hot takes, it's probably best at this point, after some things have come out about celebrities that you mentioned, it's probably best that we leave those unheard.
Yeah, those can stay in the archives, but the other stuff was good.
I think
stay in the archives.
I think our recording system knew that you said something that shouldn't be said, and so it was just like, yeah, you know what, we're just gonna not let this exist.
You're gonna regret this in a couple months. So
proof Apple is listening,
and you did.
Proof right there.
I'm very excited that you guys are here with me. Thank you for joining me. It means a lot to me. You guys are here.
I'm so glad you're getting choked up over it because it means
I know
so much that it means so much to you.
Does it? Yeah, it means so much that it means so much to you that it means so much to me.
Now you're in a Russian doll situation, it just keeps getting smaller and smaller, and where does it end,
It ends right now. So today's topic is, we are talking, a couple of months ago, Kaylee and I did an episode of Overrated, Underrated, and it was one of our most popular episodes, and we focused on Tomorrowland. And so we're moving around the Magic Kingdom, and eventually we'll make it to other parks. But today we're talking about overrated, underrated, new Fantasyland. And so we're going to look at rides, character meet and greets, places to eat, and we're going to talk about whether we think they're overrated or if we think they're underrated. And I guess there's a third option where they're just kind of like
rated.
Wait, did we just become best friends?
Oh, yeah, you know it. You can call me Dragon. Don't air that. Cut that, please.
Nope. That's staying forever. So that's what we're going to do. There's not a ton of stuff in New Fantasyland, but there's actually more than you think there is when you kind of break it apart. So what we mean by New Fantasyland is basically everything from like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and back away from the front of the park. So we're looking at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Enchanted Tales with Belle, Journey of the Little Mermaid, Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid. We're looking at the Ariel meet and greet, Be Our Guest restaurant, Gastons Tavern, and that small little shack of a quick service thing, Prince Eric's little stand where you get things to eat across from the Little Mermaid journey. So that's really it, but that's actually a lot of stuff in that small little area. So the reason we call it New Fantasyland, for those of you that may not know why we say New Fantasyland versus just Fantasyland, is because it's new. There's original Fantasyland, which is like Peter Pan and the carousel, but the New Fantasyland was expanded a few years ago. And so that's what we're talking about today. So let's start off with the rides first and foremost. Let's start with Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid ride. Overrated, underrated. Campbell's, you go first.
It's so rated. I mean, there's no wait time. It's great. It's always 10 minutes.
But it can be kind of a snooze fest. It's kind of long for an Omnimover, I would say. And not as elaborate as a lot of the other rides. But it still gets to me every time because Little Mermaid is my favorite Disney movie. I love the music. I like all that. But I don't rush to go do it. I'll do it if it's there, if I'm walking by. That's fine. So yeah, I'll go with rated. I like that answer.
But outside, it has one of the hardest hidden Mickeys to spot. I don't know if either of you know about this.
Are you going to drop some knowledge?
I'm going to drop some...
I'm the one who showed it to you.
Oh my God.
Oh my
she
gosh.
showed it to me. Here to talk about it is Kelly from Campbell's on Coasters.
No, you started it, so now you have to finish.
Well, okay. Kelly's apparently the one who showed it to me. I thought it was Gregory who showed it to me. So it's at the exit, and you turn. There's like there's the landscaping area with the pool of water and all that, and you turn, and it's like a projection of his 3D face. You know what I'm talking about?
You are so good at describing things. I feel like I'm there.
No, he's the worst.
It does feel like you're there. So you exit.
I can smell the chlorine water right now.
There's a railing to your right. If you go to the railing and stand there and you look into the landscaped area.
Would you like some help with this?
I would love help with this. I'm dying here. I'm dying.
So yes, outside of the ride, sort of in between the entrance for Under the Sea with Little Mermaid and Ariel's Grotto, off on your right when you're passing by, there's a stone formation that if you look at it just right, it looks like a certain Mickey Mouse from his first ever feature film appearance, Steamboat Willie. It is a little difficult to spot, but if you can find like a sort of...
Does it have to be like on the third Saturday of the second month of the year at 12:05? Yes.
And there has to be a full moon that evening.
Okay, that's what I thought.
With Venus directly across from... No, I have no idea.
In retrograde?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in the save there because I was floundering. Hold for applause.
I see what you did there. So you guys think it's rated perfectly? It's not overhyped. It's not underhyped. It's just fine.
There. Yeah.
Well, okay. So I'm going to disagree in the sense that I think it's underrated. I think you're completely underrating this ride as you speak. Because one, it is very long for a dark ride, like super long, which is really nice. It's very cold in there, which feels good. Like when you're going under the sea, turn backwards and you're going under the sea after the little bird talks to you, like it kind of get that puff of cold air. I like that when you go under the sea, if you look on the back of the clamshell, it looks like you're going underwater kind of. I like that.
Like the bubble effect.
Yeah. The whole the main room scene where the Under the Sea song is playing, I like all of the different characters and the movements and everything going on. My ADHD self loves that room a lot.
I get you.
And I think that the only problem is I feel like and I know it's really long, but like I feel like they left out some stuff. Like it's just kind of like, oh, her voice is gone. Boom, it's back. The end.
Right?
She's married.
Yeah,
and
it
she's
is almost
12.
kind of like they went really like long in the beginning process and like putting in all the stuff from the opening, and then they realized, oh wait, we still have like 30 more scenes to get through, so they just smashed them all together in like 2 rooms.
I mean, they kind of
like their wedding scene with like Ursula being like stabbed by a ship over in the corner, like
goes together well.
Not quite.
They give you fair warning at the beginning.
Not quite canon.
Because the bird is talking and he's like, oh, let me start from the beginning after he'd already told this whole story. And then it's like, oh, let's get one scene and then Ursula's stabbed. They're married happily ever after.
Can I be
Watch Little Mermaid 2 because that's where the real stuff is.
Can I be a Disney nerd for a second and correct both of you on the fact that the bird...
His name is Dinglehopper.
No, his name is Scuttle. Really close. Really close.
Oh.
I can't do this with you. You guys need to get educated.
What's his name, Kelly?
His name is Scuttle.
Dinglehopper.
It's one opinion.
One opinion.
Can we also talk about how underrated the queue is? Yeah, it's just a bunch of rock, but also you've got like the little crabs that you can like tell them where to go.
Crabs. I love that queue. That queue is really, really well done and shady. Not like it's outside, but it still feels really nice and cool. It's a nice break from the heat for sure.
Definitely. And one more little hidden tidbit in the queue is there's actually a hidden Nautilus from the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea movie in the rock formation near the fountain. Just a little tidbit for you.
Yeah, we'll
as well.
Look for that next time.
Where was Greg on that one, Mr. NRG Adventures?
Shade.
Burn.
Throw it.
So we got 2 rated perfectly and 1 underrated for Journey to Little Mermaid. I love it, by the way. It's one of my favorite dark rides. I'm just putting that out there. But then again, Little Mermaid is my favorite princess. Not my favorite movie, my favorite princess.
Do you want to know my favorite princess?
Yes.
It's Mulan.
She's not okay. No, we're not getting into that.
Triggered.
That's a whole nother episode. Princess or not. All right. So next, the only other ride per se in New Fantasyland is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Big time, hard, fast pass to get. Always over an hour wait. Even if you do early magic, we still had to wait like 30 minutes to do early magic if you stay on property. So what do you guys think? Overrated or underrated? Kelly?
So I personally think it's overrated.
Yes!
It is very beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The Imagineers did a great job in designing the whole theming of it, but it is such a short ride. There is no need for that 2-hour wait time. It's super slow, so it's not thrilling. Like, I guess it's great for kids, but just a waste of time in my opinion.
Where do you guys sit at? Where's your go-to spot to sit on it?
We don't even have a go-to spot. Like, that's how little we ride that ride.
I have a go-to spot.
Where
it has to be the back.
I'm shook right
because
now.
you go over that hill so slow.
Yep.
That by the time the back and it is over the hill and it releases, the front is all the way down the hill.
Yep.
And you get no drop. I mean, you get minimum drop in the back, but like you get a small drop.
Yeah.
I love that ride. Like that's one of my favorite rides. It's such a smooth roller coaster.
Whoa, I'm learning.
No, I mean, that was the roller coaster that I could ride first because I was afraid of roller coasters.
Oh, true.
So it's got a special place in my heart. Oh. But the queue is just, I mean, they did a great job and made it interactive, but every time you're going through those barrels, it just slows down by like
really,
much.
Yeah. Well, and that queue is only really interactive in that one, maybe 2 locations if you count the water fountain music that doesn't work. And the
plus, don't drink it. I drank it and I had diarrhea for weeks.
Yeah, not a usable water
Man, our
fountain.
12-year-old listeners are loving this episode.
I'm gonna clarify that because Disney might sue us. I did not drink it, and I did not. I may have had diarrhea anyways, but it was not from the water.
You don't know that it wasn't from the water.
I didn't drink the water.
Anyway,
just so Disney doesn't sue.
Yeah, the very few interactive things are not until you're practically on the ride. So you go through tons of weaving with nothing to look at except each other and grass and like wooden fence. But there's the stuff that they made interactive, and I feel this way about a lot of them, but like that one in particular slows down the line like nobody's business because everyone, if you want to stop and play with it, that's totally fine, but like don't make people wait behind you for you to play with it. That's my thing.
I would say that's true for all queues that have interactive. They all slow down at some point because people stop to mess with the stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, it just
builds.
I have no point to make with that. I just hate it. My anger is palpable right now. Yeah.
I 100% agree. It's so overrated. Like it is we've only stood in the regular queue one time, and that was on early morning magic. And so it was like 30 minutes. So I've only done that once, and it was moving so much that we didn't have time to play with the barrels and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But so we just always, if we don't get a fast pass, we just don't ride it. And like, it's not a big deal if we don't. Like whoop-de-doo. We just don't ride it.
Yeah, same.
It takes a lot for me to stand in line for any ride more than 45 minutes. But then again, like as a pass holder, like that's kind of like my prerogative, like to do because I can go so much. But like it takes, I think the only ride, I think Krista, my wife, would agree with me that the only ride we would wait 45 minutes for or more would be Flight of Passage, probably. But we wouldn't wait more than an hour and a half at the same time. Like we're kind of like those jerks, I guess, that are like, oh, we're too good to wait in line.
I'm going to be real. Waiting, and this may be a different segment. Flight of Passage, you can wait an hour and a half, and it's not that bad.
That's true.
As far as what I've noticed.
That's true.
Like it doesn't feel that bad.
They do a good job of like spacing the rooms and having them themed differently, so it kind of...
There's something to look at the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did an hour and 45 minutes in Flight of Passage, and it wasn't that bad. I wouldn't do it again. But if you want to ride the ride at 145 minutes, then do it.
So Josh, it was overrated for Kelly and I, but for you love it. So do you think it's just rated perfectly?
I do love it, but I do also think it's 100 overrated.
Wow. I feel like we're going to get some serious hate from this conversation about Seven Dwarfs. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it's a good ride, but
it is smooth.
If you wouldn't wait in the queue for it, then that's overrated. And if the queue is over an hour and you wouldn't ride it at an hour,
Yeah. But also a lot of people are like, oh, it's so great because the cars kind of sway back and forth. Okay, I felt it barely sway back and forth. Like it never really...
We intentionally rock it.
When it stops, we're just rocking like crazy.
Yeah, but like when you're riding it, you don't feel it.
Right.
And so that's like the big selling thing. Oh, it rocks back and forth. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Not when you're riding it. Just when you're still.
Yeah.
It does.
No, that's true.
You can tell it banks, but it doesn't really rock. I mean, it like when you're going around a corner, you can feel it going more.
Well, and there's
this is
always,
from an engineering standpoint.
There's always that piece of me that's like, is it okay that this rocks? Like, is this stable? If this is moving, is this okay? Am I going to die on this ride right now?
No.
Do you ever ride a ride and you kind of hope like, okay, I hope it malfunctions just enough to where I kind of get just a little hurt, but not like seriously hurt. So that way Disney has to like give me something like legit.
Space Mountain is that ride for me.
I wouldn't want it to happen on Space Mountain because I feel like that one would kill you.
You would get
like
decapitated.
Something happens on Space Mountain, you're dead.
Yeah, I think
something happens on like, something fell while I was on It's a Small World and, okay, like a boat sank and people were swimming, but like nobody died. Nobody was decapitated by the steel scaffolding.
How much money do you think is in the water at Small World in the queue. You know, I mean, there's tons of coins.
So much money.
Yeah.
So much money. Millions.
Probably. That's what I think.
That's way too high.
Millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions, possibly.
I can't remember what it was on or what it was in. I don't think I have a physical copy, but when I started working for Disney, they did share an estimated amount of money collected from water rides in the parks, just an overall. So it wasn't just It's a Small World, but just an overall. And it was something that a lot of people don't know is that they actually do clean those out decent frequent. I mean, not every day or every week or anything, but within a couple months, they do go in and try to clean it out, get the money out. Mm-hmm. And
I bet they try to get the money out.
And they don't keep it. For the most part, they donate it to other projects, but
to other Disney projects.
No,
That's what I was gonna say.
Charities. No, charities and things like that.
That's what's helping to build the Tron coaster right now. All the money from Small World.
That's the only thing building the Tron coaster.
This is change gathered up from the bottom of It's a Small World.
Yes. Millions of dollars.
And the estimate was pretty shocking. It was thousands of dollars per year. I remember that, but it was pretty crazy. It's not millions, I know that, but it's
what Disney tells you, I guess.
Here's a real nerdy statement, which should never make it into the podcast. I bet they could calculate the amount of money based off the natural water level compared to what it raises to with all the money.
Go do that. Go take your time.
Well, I'd have to have the data for the water level, so I don't have that data.
Go find it.
This has been your nerd moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh just nerded out.
Yeah.
I don't know how to transition from that. But anyways, back to what we're actually talking about. So that's the only 2 rides in New Fantasyland, which is kind of a bummer. But there's really not anywhere else to put a...
Dumbo?
That's in Storybook Circus.
Those are the same thing.
Do you even go to Disney? God.
There's 2 things in Storybook Circus.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Oh my God.
All right, so let's talk about character meet and greets. So one of them is a true character meet and greet. The other is kind of like an experience where you have an opportunity to meet a character. So let's talk about Ariel's Grotto. It's where you can meet the Little Mermaid in her mermaid state. It's the only place you can meet her as a mermaid, actually.
That was my number 1 location as a child. I'm going to give it underrated because I feel like I don't see anyone going in there or hear people talking about it. I mean, I'm sure I'm dead wrong. It's just...
Hey, Kelly, you know why there's no one talking about it? Because it kind of sucks.
No,
It kind of sucks.
I'm not a big character person. I don't do the character meet and greets, but that one is pretty cool. Getting to enter
the Grotto.
Well, just a very specific location. I would say that and the Tinkerbell one with the what is it called? The fairy place. The name escapes me. Pixie Hollow. That's what it's called. The fact that the theming around the character goes with them, I think, is really cool. And there are pictures of me totally crying as a kid, meeting my
last
dream.
week.
That's from fear, not from excitement.
Is this fish person gonna eat me?
Exactly.
No, I loved Ariel as a kid. I walked into the park to meet her wearing a bright red wig that totally had never been brushed, had been pulled out of a suitcase and just thrown on top of my head, and I felt like the most beautiful thing ever.
Josh, is that how you felt at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party this year as the Little Mermaid? Is that how you felt as well? The most beautiful
wig
thing?
Was thrown.
His wig wasn't there because somebody wouldn't wear it.
I'll be honest. I got so many compliments for dressing as the Little Mermaid. It was so inspiring, and I felt so much joy in my heart.
And we didn't even go over to Ariel's Grotto.
We didn't even meet her. I feel so disappointed at that.
Yeah.
I just now realized
it's probably for the best.
Yeah, it would have been. I think all the face character meet and greets are awkward.
They are.
But, it would have been funny.
I think the most awkward are the ones where you're eating and they're coming up to you, the face characters.
Yes, and talking to you while you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can I chew,
Super
please?
awkward.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the furries because it's like, it's not real interaction. It's just like, let's pantomime to each other. This is fun. But the other one is like, you make eye contact and it's like, I'm not okay with this amount of intimacy right now.
And they're like, here's a grown man at a princess dining talking to me like I'm an actual princess.
Yeah. Like, you know, I know that you know that I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
John, they're talking to you like you're a princess because you are a beautiful princess.
Oh, thank you.
You're so welcome.
So, Ariel's Grotto, I'll tell you this right now. Krista and Kaylee both would say that it's probably overrated because the lighting in there for photos is horrible. That's what they would say. It's like a reddish, orange, pink lighting, which is really weird. Anyways, I think it's overrated because, well, I mean, it's kind of cool that it's the only place you can meet her as a mermaid. But I think it's overrated because it's super confusing. Like, she's a mermaid here, but like, I just had breakfast where she was not a mermaid. Like, can she just go back and forth? Can she just switch? Like, oh, today I feel like being a mermaid. Oh, today I feel like I want those, what are they called? Oh, yeah, legs.
Well, according to The Little Mermaid 2, which is totally canon, she can if she wants to. Yeah. That's what her magic-wielding father is for. Duh. But clearly, when she's at Trattoria and talking to you on her two legs, Eric is there too. Obviously, they kissed, broke the curse of fins.
Worst prince.
And then shut up. You know what? I will agree with that, actually.
That's like living on daddy's money, but daddy's magic.
Yeah.
I have daddy's magic for that.
Oh,
I'm mad at you. I'm going back to daddy and being a mermaid.
Exactly.
That's what happens. But hey, Prince Eric gets the bed all to himself. But I mean, he can't go visit the in-laws, so that's also a plus, I would say. You know, it's like he can't turn into a merman. So like,
yeah, true. Well, as far as we know, that's true.
Have you ever seen The Little Mermaid 3?
Doesn't.
Bet that was in it, if it was ever made.
So overrated. It's pretty much a consensus. It's overrated. I mean, it's cute for little kids to go meet Ariel. She pulls out her little dingle hopper and all that stuff.
Pretty much consensus. Do I not count as a person?
You said it was overrated. Did you not?
No, I said it was underrated.
Oh, I just assumed, I guess.
Because I think everything is overrated. Is that?
No, I just wasn't listening, I don't think.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
So you thought it was underrated. I thought it was overrated. Josh, let's make sure you have your opinion heard.
We're going to split the difference here and just call it rated.
No, you don't get to do that.
I don't ever go to them because they make me feel awkward. So it's overrated. There it is. You want my real opinion?
Yeah.
That's it.
When we come down in April, here's what's happening. When we come down in April, which, by the way, we're going down in April for a week or so, we're going to go to every character meet and greet we possibly can, Josh. Yes,
please.
It's happening. Yes,
I did the.
I'm gonna be sick that weekend. Sorry.
I did the Tinkerbell one with my mom when she was here, and it was just like I feel like I have to actually have a conversation with this person.
But I feel like that's more awkward. Just you and your mom meeting Tinkerbell.
Especially because I refused to be a part of it too. Like
Kelly
I was
would
standing
not
with
come
the
in.
photographer, just like smiling at the awkward.
And I was just like, please, God, please come in here and just save me from this.
Enchanted Tales with Belle. Have you guys done this before?
No, we haven't.
I feel like I'm okay with that one. That's not really a meet and greet.
It's right.
That
it
one looks fun.
The only way you can meet Belle is if you're actually in. So let's talk about what it is first. First, you go into Belle's house, her dad's house, and that's where the queue
Daddy's
is.
house.
Yeah, Daddy's house. And you magically transport. You walk through a mirror into the Beast's castle. And you're surprising Belle to tell her the story of how her and the Beast met. So they have like the wardrobe is like getting little kids to be like the salt shakers or the plates. And they get like two adult men to be like the armor, suits of armor. And one little girl gets to be Belle. Then another kid gets to be Beast. They act it all out in front of Belle in her yellow dress. And then at the end, anyone who was a part of it gets to meet Belle. But if you weren't a part of it, you don't get to meet Belle. meaning you don't get your photo with them. Yeah.
This is one I actually want to do, though. And I never...
Why?
I mean, because it's different than the other ones. It's not just like you stand in line.
Exactly. It's an experience, and it's actually a really cool experience.
In April, we'll do this one.
Okay.
When you're here.
Thank you.
This is one I will do. I will say, let's do this one. And no other ones.
I'll go wait in line for
you're doing
Seven
it.
Dwarfs.
You're doing it.
It's legitimately a pretty cool thing, actually. Like, because the little kids are super cute doing their little like motions, and they like act as the salt and pepper shakers. And then you got like the little boy that's Beast, and then the little girl that's Belle. It's super cute and precious. They have a Lumiere that's actually like on the thing and is like moving, like you think he's actually there. Like it's really cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really cool production of stuff. But the little kids who don't get chosen, like there's Belle like 2 feet from them, but you can't meet her or have your photo with her. So you have
I
to
would
sit
go
there.
just for the tears, just to see what kids cry after.
Well, actually, I was just thinking that. Like, I'm not sure how they justify that. How many kids walk out of there, like, crying because they didn't get to meet Belle?
I would say that
that
if the CMs see like a kid getting really upset, they'd be like, "Hey, do they want to meet Belle?" Because I will say, last March we were there for Krista's birthday. We did it, and I was a soldier. Like I just randomly got chosen to be a soldier, and Krista wasn't in it or anything. But like I was like, "Hey, can my wife? It's her birthday trip. Can she meet Belle?" And so they let her.
Wait, they wouldn't even let you take your family with you? Like, I want to take a picture with my wife with Belle.
No. Because they got to get them in and out, man.
I don't know. I've just witnessed enough of that to figure
sad.
Some stuff's probably not as magical.
You're doing it. Okay. It's happening.
Fine.
This is always, it's hard to find a fast pass for it. I will say that. And the wait times are usually pretty long. So do you guys think overrated, underrated, even though you've not actually done it? Things you've heard, seen, etc.
I mean, I think my opinion's pretty obvious. I would say it's overrated because, well, first of all, unpopular opinion, I am not a Beauty and the Beast fan. So really, if I'm going to meet a character, it's not going to be any of the characters from that movie.
I'll rate it for now until I try it, because we'll do a follow-up podcast where I rate the things we haven't done.
Perfect.
I just slid into this podcast life just now.
Yeah.
So as someone who's done it twice, twice.
Mr. Cool over here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A big shot.
It is, I think it's underrated. I don't think people really know what it is. I think they think they're just going to go sit down and hear Belle read a story to them. But it's actually a really great experience, especially if you have like little kids who really love Beauty and the Beast, especially. But it's a cool little thing even for adults, which you guys will see when we come down in a few weeks. I mean, there's got to be like some part of you that's like, oh, I've never done that. That's something at Disney that I've never done. I want to do that just to be able to say I did it.
I mean, yeah, sure. There is the piece of me that's like, I want to be that person who can walk away and say, I have done literally everything there is to do at Disney World. But I also won't cry if on my deathbed I have never experienced Enchanted Tales with Belle.
That's the two kind of character, quote unquote, meet and greets options there. Next and last, what?
That's not true. You can meet Gaston over by his tavern on most days.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about meeting Gaston over near his tavern area.
Gaston is so dreamy. It is underrated because he's just so beautiful and he's so muscular. And he catcalled me one time across the plaza because I was staring at him. I got caught staring at Gaston. And he yelled at me.
Gosh.
And he said, I know you like what you see. And all I could say was, yeah, that's true.
Yes, sir.
Story time with Josh.
That is 100% a true story.
There's something odd, I think, about all these like girls in their 20s and 30s that are like obsessed with Gaston. Why, Kelly? Why are girls obsessed with Gaston? He's a jerk.
You're asking the wrong 20-something-year-old girl.
You don't like
know.
Gaston?
No. I I will reference the fact that I don't like that whole movie. So Gaston's definitely in there in the not like list. I don't know. Maybe muscles are a thing, but he's definitely a narcissist. So I don't get what's attractive about that.
I mean, you can clearly tell from my physique that she's not into muscles at all. Mostly she's into LeFou. I mean, he's got the right build. The right height, that's really what she's into.
Josh, can we go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party? Me as Gaston, you as LeFou. Can we make that happen?
I only go if I can dress as a woman. Yeah.
What if I go as Gaston and you go as Belle? Would that be something that you would be up for?
We could make it work somehow.
Okay.
I would love to make that costume.
Don't you think that Greg, NRG Adventures on Instagram, don't you think that he kind of like exudes Lumiere? Like he would be like a walking embodiment of a candlestick.
So are we plugging him into this too? So like you're going to be Gaston.
Yeah.
Josh is going to be Belle. Mm-hmm. Greg will be Lumiere.
Yes.
And his shiny head.
We'll work on it. We got some time. Since tickets for Mickey's Not So Scary went on sale, like 2 months ago?
Yeah. I mean, this first one starts in like November. No, I mean like May, right? Because it's right. February, March now. So we got a couple months.
I think the three of us should go as the town's women.
We moved on.
And Kelly should be...
Oh my gosh.
Kelly should be...
Gaston.
Because she's the smallest of all of us.
And Krista could be LeFou.
Yeah, that could work. And then Nicole could be...
Krista would love this.
Nicole can be Glitter again.
This whole episode is never being heard, ever. This is another...
Don't do this to me again. Don't do this to me.
Let's talk about food.
Back. Yeah.
Let's talk about food. That's something that everyone loves to talk about. So let's talk about, first and foremost, Prince Eric's Village Market is the official name of it. It's this little shack of a stand across from Ariel's Grotto. And I have a real issue with this place because, 2 years ago, they used to have lemonade. Okay, it's the Odwalla lemonade, but they would put actual strawberries in it. And so it was amazing, so good. They got rid of it. So now you can get giant turkey legs, folks. Giant turkey legs there. And Ariel cupcakes, along with fruit, water, and that's it.
You sound pretty worked up about this.
I'm fired. So, I'm still angry about it.
I'm gonna trust your word because I don't really notice these kinds of things. But you sound really upset. And I can see tears. There are tears forming in your eyes right now.
Yeah.
He's
good
literally
lemonade.
Crying. And so, with that kind of passion, I mean, it's got to be overrated. You don't see that kind of passion out of a grown man unless there's some real injustice going on.
Because what do you need more than another themed cupcake from Disney? Seriously, another themed cupcake? They're all the same.
Lemonade with strawberries in it.
I need 2 more themed cupcakes from Disney.
Oh, you'll get them, I'm sure. Believe me, you will get them.
Oh, hey, look at this email I just got about cupcakes.
Kelly, any opinion?
Considering the fact that I know what stand you're talking about, but I had no clue it actually had a name, I'll count it as appropriately rated as nothing.
It is nothing.
It's not overrated. It's not underrated.
The first ever 0 rating.
Oh.
Yeah, it just flat 0.
She refused to rate it. I'm looking at her right now. She's looking at me like she's not going to rate this. And I can tell she's not going to rate it. She does not rate this, people.
Yeah,
It's over.
0 rating.
0. Appropriately rated.
That is appropriate.
Nothing.
This is how crappy of a Prince Eric is. They give him just some random stand that no one really notices.
I mean, I can imagine them sitting around the boardroom table and we got this stand. We're going to put it out here. They're all from, Northeast, of course.
They're from New Jersey.
What are we going to call it? And they're like, just Prince Eric.
Boston.
Let's just call it Prince Eric.
Hey, let's put Prince Eric over here. Hey.
The
Exactly.
title to me suggests that he needed the funding for some reason, so he started up a shop.
Ooh, Kingdom's not doing too well, folks.
They got some economic issues going on over there.
I mean, the backlash from him marrying Ursula was...
Ooh.
Ursula.
Oh, whatever her name was.
He almost married her.
Oh, true.
There's a lot of backlash from that. And then there's even more backlash because there's a lot of people who don't accept the mer people.
We are not making this political
And,
right now.
a lot of backlash, a lot of public backlash for that. Really affected the taxes that year. There wasn't a whole lot coming in.
So he needed to start up a stupid stand.
It's called Prince Eric's Stand, right? That's it?
Prince Eric's Village Market. And someone's going to message me on Instagram and be like, that is my favorite place in the entire world. It's so good.
I always stop there when I go to Disney.
I love the turkey legs. All right. Next, Gaston's Tavern. Gaston's Tavern is where you can get the legendary LeFou's Brew, which is a special drink only to the Magic Kingdom, which is essentially frozen apple juice with some type of fruit foam on top. Do you guys get that are you a fan of LeFou's Brew?
I cannot have LeFou's Brew, so no. I am allergic to LeFou's Brew, so I've never had it.
It's so good, folks, it'll kill her.
That's actually the tagline.
We've been there a few times, and I've had LeFou's Brew.
You did have some?
LeFou Brew. Mm-hmm. I've had LeFou's Brew, and it was all right. We got some worms and dirt there too.
Oh, yeah.
You know how I feel about worms and dirt.
That was a Halloween party thing, though.
Yeah.
So that kind of doesn't count.
But it seems like it's probably always crowded inside since it's such a small dining area.
Yeah, it is kind of compact.
So, it just doesn't have enough room for people going in and sitting down.
The theming is kind of cute, though. I'll give it that.
I think it's got great theming, for sure.
It does.
Yeah.
Now, the bathrooms over there, pretty clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Saved me in a few pinches.
Oh.
I like all the antlers he used in his decorating, for sure.
Yeah.
Can you sing the song for us? I don't know what you're referencing.
Oh, my gosh. So
just a few bars.
The other thing about Gaston's Tavern is the giant cinnamon roll that you can get. Have you guys gotten the giant cinnamon roll there? It's easily 4 or 5 people can eat it.
Is it different from the one that they sell towards the front of Main Street at the bakery?
Yes, it is different. It is literally like, I would say it's a good 5 to 6 inches tall.
So it's just like diabetes on a plate, basically.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the perfect snack for a small family, for sure. And it is always crowded, but it's not crowded if you go prior to 10 o'clock in the morning.
I guess they do have breakfast food. So,
they have the cinnamon roll would be perfect.
Yeah, if you want a real sugary breakfast, like I love.
I think it's underrated personally. I believe that it's underrated. I don't think people give it enough attention other than just for like the LeFou's Brew. There's other parts of it that I think are cool, like the design.
Well, clearly you're correct because I only noted it for LeFou's Brew. Mm-hmm. And because of the fact that I can't have it, we just avoid it. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to go take a look.
She wrote it off real quick, and that's pretty much been the end of it. So, underrated for now.
This segment is really turning into more like, what have Josh and Kelly not done in the park that
even though they live
you guys
there.
Are going to make us do? Yeah, even though we live here.
Let's talk about Be Our Guest.
Be our guest.
He's been holding it back this whole time.
I've been getting worked up over here, doing jumping jacks, ready to talk about Be Our Guest.
Table service restaurant, quick service restaurant. It's quick service for breakfast and lunch. It is table service for dinner. It is 2 dining credits. If you're on the dining plan, dinner is 2 dining credits. So that's pretty pricey. They just changed from a choose what you want to like a pre-planned menu you choose from. During breakfast and lunch, you do not get to meet the beast. You see him walk through, but at dinner, you actually get to meet the beast, which is a big reason why a lot of people go for dinner. So, have you guys eaten there? And what did you guys do? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, all 2 of them?
Hold on. No, you wait. Josh have you only been there once? Okay, Josh has only been there once. I've been there about maybe 4 times now. Hold on, give me just a second. Josh has only been there once, and I've been there about 4 or 5 times. The very first time we went was within a couple months of it opening, and it was one of the worst dining experiences we have ever had on Disney property.
Oh my gosh.
And Josh has been harboring that hatred ever since. That's a huge reason why he has never been back. The times that I have gone back, it has been pretty begrudgingly. I think that place is entirely overrated. Again, just like with Seven Dwarfs, I think it is beautifully themed. I think it is decorated to the nines, but I think that the restaurant itself is a waste of my time. It's a logistical nightmare if you eat there during breakfast or lunch, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. I don't think it's managed properly. There have been way too many instances where our food, in the 4 or 5 times that I've been there have been way too many instances in which my order has been legitimately lost or forgotten entirely and like not brought to my table. It's so packed. It's so hard to eat there. There should not be a quick service where you have to make a reservation. That's the whole point of quick service. The place makes me like fuming mad. It's beautiful, but it makes me angry. And Josh is pretty similar in that.
So how do you really feel, though?
Right?
Josh?
We're not going to tell that story because...
Our waiter's name was Paul.
Oh, my God.
I had a terrible, terrible experience there. And it was... So, I didn't start coming to Disney until 2015. When Kelly and I came for our first trip together, and that was the second place we ever ate. And we had eaten at Boma the night before, which was amazing. And so I had really high hopes because Boma was amazing, and it was really, really disappointing. And like she said, the theming is fantastic. I mean, great theming. The rooms all look great, and they look like they're from, the movie. But the food was really, really bad. And it was a lot of... I mean, I guess, was it 2 dining credits when we went back then, or was it still 1 dining credit?
No, it was just 1.
Okay. So that's not that frustrating. But
that was... When we did that was before the whole 2 dining credits for certain meals kind of thing.
But then they would periodically make the beast walk around, and we had to clap for him. And they were literally walking by everyone's table and yelling, "Clap for your master! Clap for your master!" And that is seared into my memory as just a terrible experience. I have nightmares about that. I swear.
God. Yeah, he was just, super offended by being told to participate in a...
I was angry that they were telling me to clap for someone. I was like, you don't get to tell me what to clap for. I tell me what to clap for.
Was this after or before your near-death experience? And I use that very lightly. Your near-death experience on Peter Pan.
Same day.
Okay.
Literally.
I'm going to tell the story again because that one's never going to air. But talking about Peter Pan, I mean, you start out, you're at ground level, and then you are flying thousands of feet above London.
The story is that Peter Pan is the first ride he ever rode at Disney, and he was practically in tears, begging me to tell him that he was going to be okay and that nothing bad was going to happen on this ride while walking onto it.
I never did theme parks as a child. You're flying thousands of feet above London. You could fall and you could die. I mean, that's thousands of feet. I mean,
thousands.
At least 2,000 feet. That's thousands. 2,000 feet.
Gosh. So I feel like Be Our Guest is not a good option for you guys to eat at ever again.
Mm-mm.
Overrated.
Well, what about the gray stuff? Did you not think it was delicious?
That's the other thing.
Oh my God.
So the gray stuff was actually different on its first few menus, and what we had was the worst dessert ever. Like, I don't know what to compare it to, but it was the most tasteless, just spongy nothing. Like, it had no flavor. It wasn't sweet. The gray stuff was, in fact, not delicious originally. But it has changed since then. I haven't had it since then.
And it's actually different if you get it at lunch versus dinner.
Oh,
it tasted how it looked. It was gray.
Yeah.
And that's what it tasted like.
Yeah, I think it was it was, I don't know, it was like cake, like a square cake. Oh yeah, it was kind of like an eclair. It was, but with no...
But cakey, but like decorated like an eclair, like with the...
Yeah, I don't know.
Gray icing on top.
It was so disappointing.
That is... Yeah. I tried to actually, side note, I tried to replicate like making the gray stuff for Krista, like our first Valentine's Day. Like I Googled like what they used to make it and all that stuff. So like I made this like cake and I got icing and I tried to food color it gray, but it turned out to just be like purple somehow. Like I got like white icing and tried to get like black food coloring and was like trying to make it happen. It just wasn't happening. So it ended up being the purple stuff instead of the gray stuff. It's a thought that matters.
And she yelled at you? She said, this is worthless? I never would have wanted this.
She beat me. She got it and she threw it in my face. She said, you do not give me... I can't say the words.
I mean, what is Valentine's Day for except for your wife to yell at you?
I mean, that's true. To not live up to the standards that movies have set for her in her mind.
This definitely sounds like Krista to me. 100%.
She's just angry all the time.
Accurate. Yeah.
Be Our Guest is literally the most overrated restaurant in the entire world. Yeah, the entire world. I
actually kind of thought you were going to say differently, and I'm like so relieved at this moment. We can still be friends.
Preach. Let me hear it, brother. Preach.
So, first off, if you go for breakfast, have you guys gone for breakfast? Mm-hmm. If you order the Master's breakfast platter, you get literally one sausage link, half an egg, and like they bring out this plate of like pastries, and you're paying like
choose half a pastry,
like $20 for this, and I'm just like, how is this something that like you can actually present me without feeling like you're ripping me off? Like, then lunchtime. I will say this, at lunch, have you guys eaten lunch there?
Yes.
Okay, at lunch, I go with like the roast beef sandwich thing or whatever. The first time I ordered it, I was afraid because I was like, okay, this is the type of place that's going to bring me like pink, like very pink, semi-uncooked roast beef. Because like sometimes that's how it's served, right? I'm a well-done steak kind of guy. Like I don't like any bloody pink stuff going on. So when they brought it out to me, it was literally pink, pink, pink. Like I'm talking like the cow had just been killed. They cut it out of the cow and they put it on a baguette with some fries and they gave it to me.
That is how it's best. I mean,
and I'm just about to throw up thinking about it right now. Like was disgusting. I sent it back. I'm like, can you make this like cooked? Can you cook this? Like, I don't want to eat like raw beef. So they brought it back and it was fine or whatever. So now, from now on, I always have to tell them like literally like cook it extra so that there's not any like pink or red or anything. Like I get that's how people eat it sometimes. That's fine. But it is so like no flavor at all. And it's like they put so much on there. They're like, oh, they give you so much to make you think like, oh, this is a great value. What a great value. I'm getting so much food. But in reality, the food is crappy.
Yeah.
So it's not really a good value.
Can we talk about the automated ordering system?
Have you done the automated ordering system?
No, but you have.
Oh.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Like, wait, how do you know about that? Yeah. Well, it was weird. I was just on a little like trip with my mom and some friends a few weekends ago, and I received a notification on my Disney Experience app 30 days prior to a reservation that we had for the quick service lunch, like that, saying that will never.
You could order
normal. Yeah, I could order my food 30 days in advance. Why was I going to do that? I didn't know what I wanted to eat that day, let alone 30 days from then. But it didn't even appear to make a difference. Maybe it does some days, maybe it doesn't others, or whatever the situation was. There were people going into a separate line for having ordered in advance, but they still had to go to the automated system and place their order. What was the point of ordering in advance if you still had to go up to the little kiosk, wait in like 5 lines to get into the line that takes you to the kiosk, and order it anyway? Like, place the whole order again. What's the point if that's what you have to do?
No point. Krista loves Be Our Guest.
Krista
loves it. Like, we've had dinner there twice before they changed it.
Like, can I get clarification on that? Does she love it for the atmosphere? Like, is she a big
No,
Beauty
she
and
thinks the
Beast
food's
fan?
good too, but she does love the atmosphere. She loves Beauty and the Beast. She loves the atmosphere, which the atmosphere is great. That's fine. But like,
I can give people a pass for that, but you can't justify it to me as a good restaurant.
no, it's not a good restaurant. I think they do the whole ordering early thing to make you think that it's a better experience than it is as well, because they know it's not a good experience. So they have to do things like that to make you think like you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've ordered my food already. What are we going to get? Let's talk about it. And it gets you excited about it. And I'm just like, dude, it doesn't get me excited.
Yeah.
I asked for bread, and they brought us one piece of bread. One single roll.
Did you say bread or breads? Did you make it plural, Josh?
I did not make it plural because
That's
you don't
your fault.
need to make it plural.
Yeah.
That's on you.
The verbatim request was, can we get some more bread, please?
Yeah. And he gave us
one roll.
some more one bread.
That's my favorite story ever. Oh, that's so good.
I'm not going to repeat the waiter's name. You need to cut that out, but his name was Paul.
Because I'm sure he still works there.
No, not the way he treated us. I bet he doesn't.
Based on the scathing review I left for him, he probably doesn't
poor
work
Paul.
there anymore.
Now he works. Now he's a VIP tour guide or something.
No, he just works over at like Victoria and Albert's.
Failing upwards. Paul knows what he did. Paul already knows what he did.
He's now a bum over on International Drive.
Oh, God.
That's where he's at.
Now you're trying to make me feel bad about not giving him.
You're going to be walking down the street for some reason on iDrive, and you're going to see him as a bum, and he's going to blame you for him losing his job at Disney.
Probably.
All right. So with that great end of the show, that's it for this episode of Overrated, Underrated. Let us know on Instagram what you guys think. If we were on point, chances are we probably weren't, in your opinion. But let us know regardless if we thought we were on point with our overrated, underrated takes of new Fantasyland. And of course, we will have another overrated, underrated episode coming out soon. So make sure you hang around for that. Kaylee will be back next week, and we won't have to deal with Josh's insane comments about Paul.
Or me hating literally everything.
Basically, Kelly hates Disney. That should be your Instagram by yourself. Kelly hates Disney.
Oh, I sound terrible.
You do.
Let's pick a different section of the park, one that I actually like.
Like Adventureland.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
You like Adventureland? Yeah.
There's not many bad things to say about Adventureland.
Well, maybe we'll have you guys back on for Adventureland then to redeem yourselves.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, the sarcasm's not needed. Not needed at all.
I would love to be back.
All right, so that's it for this episode of Walt's World Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please leave a comment on iTunes, review us, leave a comment on Instagram. If you have any questions for us, of course, hit us up on Instagram at Walt's World Podcast or on Gmail at waltzworldpodcast@gmail.com. Of course, make sure you follow Josh and Kelly on Instagram at Kimball's on Coasters and a failing Instagram account, The Beige Wall on Instagram. Make sure you follow that for all of the beigeness that you can handle. Literally failing.
We will talk about Beige Wall at another time. I mean, post to follower ratio off the charts. I mean, I'm doing great. My numbers don't lie. My numbers don't lie.
They also
That's
really
true.
don't add up.
Oh, this is not going to get
We're
aired.
going to see a big merch push. Second quarter 2019. Baseball merch coming at ya.
Anyways, so again, hit us up on Instagram or shoot us an email, waltzworldpodcast@gmail.com. So with that, I'm John, and Kaylee will be back next week. And that's it for this episode of the Waltz World Podcast. We'll see you next week.